Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, we're diving into an emotional story about Tuna and Alex, two people caught between family expectations, hidden truths, and a storm that changes everything. We'll see how a DNA test shatters old beliefs, how Alex's sister tries to drive Tuna away, and how one rain-soaked night sparks a bond that neither of them expected. If you enjoy heartfelt, dramatic stories like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. The story begins with tension at the farm when Alex's sister confronts Tuna, warning her to stay away from Alex. Meanwhile, a DNA test reveals a shocking truth. Tuna and Johnny are not siblings, but Alex and Johnny decide to keep it secret for now to protect her fragile state after childbirth. Tuna struggles with loneliness and exhaustion until one stormy night, she falls ill with a high fever. Alex rushes to her side, caring for her and staying through the night despite his sister's disapproval. Their bond deepens in silence, and by dawn, Tuna realizes Alex is more than just a helper. He is someone she can truly rely on. From that night, both begin to feel something stronger for each other, though neither dares to confess, marking the start of a quiet but undeniable love. A soft morning haze stretched across the farm, veiling the fields in silver light. The faint scent of wet earth lingered in the breeze, and Alex stood there for a moment, taking it all in. The place always carried a strange pull for him, familiar and yet distant, as though each visit brought both comfort and unease. He walked slowly, his shoes crunching against the gravel path, before finally calling out, "Nah, are you home?" His voice echoed faintly across the open fields. From inside the small farmhouse, the door creaked open. Tuna stepped out, her expression weary but softened by a gentle smile. She looked fragile, as though the weight of endless worries pressed against her shoulders, but her eyes carried a quiet resilience that Alex couldn't help but notice. Before he could greet her properly, another presence intruded. His sister. She appeared from the side of the yard, her posture stiff, her gaze cutting like glass. The air shifted instantly, thick with tension. "What are you doing here, Na?" the sister asked, her tone sharp, though laced with something quieter beneath. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps disapproval. Tuna faltered, clutching her hands together nervously. "I only came to check on things," she replied softly, her voice steady despite the obvious discomfort. But Alex's sister wasn't satisfied. She stepped closer, her eyes narrowing. "Has Alex been visiting you often? Is there something going on between the two of you?" Tuna's lips parted in surprise, her cheeks flushing. She shook her head firmly, looking the sister straight in the eye. "No, there's nothing like that. He only pities me. He helps when I need it. I'm grateful to him and to your family. That's all." Her words hung heavy in the space between them. The sister's expression softened slightly, though the suspicion in her gaze never fully left. After a pause, she nodded, almost in relief, but her next words carried an edge meant to sting. "That's good. Keep it that way. Stay here, work hard, but don't get ideas above your place, and never try to get close to Alex." The finality in her voice landed like a slap. Without waiting for a reply, she turned on her heel, her footsteps crisp as she walked away, leaving behind a silence that felt louder than her presence. Tuna stood frozen, the words echoing inside her chest like a cruel refrain. She lowered her gaze, her throat tightening as she retreated slowly back into the small house. From the shadows of the yard, Alex had seen everything. His heart clenched, torn between anger at his sister's harshness and sorrow for Tuna's humiliation. But he said nothing. He remained silent, watching as her small frame disappeared behind the wooden door. Moments later, a child's cry broke through the tense stillness. Tuna reappeared briefly to comfort her baby, her hands gentle but her face distant, clouded by thoughts she could not shake. Alex's chest grew heavier. He wanted to step forward, to say something, anything. But instead, he stayed rooted in place, burdened by the unspoken truth he carried inside. The day slipped into night. Clouds gathered thick above the farm, and soon rain began to pour, hammering the roof like a relentless drum. Inside, Tuna sat at her modest table, staring at a bowl of simple food. She ate slowly, her mind elsewhere, her body aching with exhaustion. The fever had crept in quietly, wrapping her limbs in lead, draining her strength with every passing moment. She set the dishes aside, her head light, her body swaying slightly. Forcing herself to bathe, the cold water shocked her skin, making her shiver violently. Yet the heat burning inside her wouldn't leave. "Why is this happening now?" she whispered, her voice trembling, her unease clawing at her chest. Later, she tucked her child carefully into bed, gazing at the baby's peaceful face. A fragile smile touched her lips, but it faded quickly. The storm outside echoed her fears. The uncertainty of tomorrow, the loneliness pressing in, the fragile line between strength and collapse. She thought of Lou, her closest friend, who had been gone too long with no word. And then she thought of Alex, who always seemed to arrive when she needed help the most. But tonight, she was alone, facing her weakness in silence. Collapsing onto her small bed, she closed her eyes, her breath unsteady, her body surrendering to the fever's grip. "Just a little rest," she murmured, trying to reassure herself. But deep inside, she knew this was more than fatigue. The fever was winning. A dim bulb flickered weakly above her, a gift Alex had once installed to make her nights brighter. Now, its glow seemed distant, almost mocking, as if reminding her of how fragile she truly was. The rain pounded harder, flooding the night with noise, drowning the small farm in a cocoon of darkness. She drifted into a restless sleep, but her heart remained uneasy. Somewhere in the distance, truths were being hidden, secrets guarded, all waiting for the moment they would crash down upon her fragile world. Far from the farm, in a dim coffee shop filled with curling smoke and murmurs, Alex sat across from Johnny. The tension was thick, almost unbearable, as Johnny slid a folded piece of paper across the table. His voice cracked as he spoke. "The results are clear. Tuna, she isn't my sister." The words struck Alex like a stone dropped into still water, sending ripples through everything he thought he knew. His fingers trembled slightly as he opened the paper, eyes scanning the harsh reality printed in black and white. The DNA test left no room for doubt. For a moment, neither spoke. The silence pressed heavily against them, broken only by the faint clink of glasses from the bar. "We can't tell her," Alex finally said, his voice low, almost pleading. "She just gave birth. She's fragile. She couldn't take this right now." Johnny's eyes brimmed with unspoken pain, but he nodded, agreeing. "You're right. We'll keep it between us for now. But I need to find my real sister. The orphanage records, sister men. There must be answers somewhere." Alex's gaze softened with sympathy. Johnny's longing was palpable, the pain of not knowing where his blood truly belonged. Alex reached out, placing a steady hand on Johnny's shoulder, silently promising support. But in his own heart, a storm raged. He thought of Tuna, her quiet resilience, her sacrifices, her fragile strength. And now, this secret hung between them, threatening to unravel everything. As Johnny left the cafe, Alex remained, lost in thought. The shadows flickered across his face, painting him with equal parts worry and resolve. He knew the truth could not be hidden forever. But until then, he would protect Tuna with everything he had. Back at the farm, the rain only grew heavier, as if echoing the turmoil inside him. The storm raged through the night, sheets of rain slamming against the wooden farmhouse. The wind whistled through cracks in the walls, carrying with it a chill that seemed to seep into every corner. Alex drove quickly down the muddy road, his headlights cutting through the darkness until he reached the farm. He pushed the door open without hesitation, and what he saw made his heart drop. Tuna lay weakly on her bed, her face flushed with fever, her body trembling beneath the thin blanket. Her child slept soundly nearby, oblivious to the storm outside and the turmoil inside the room. "Nah, what's wrong?" Alex's voice was laced with panic as he rushed to her side. Tuna forced a faint smile, shaking her head weakly. "I'm fine, just a little tired. I only need some rest." Her words were fragile, and the tremor in her voice betrayed her strengthless state. Alex wasn't convinced. He touched her forehead and recoiled at the heat radiating from her skin. His chest tightened. "This isn't just fatigue. You're burning up," he said firmly, moving quickly to the table. He rummaged through the small tin box of medicines, carefully measuring out a dose of fever pills, mixing them with water. He returned and lifted her gently, his movements tender yet steady. "Drink this, Na. You need to get better. Please." His eyes met hers, filled with both worry and something unspoken, something deeper. Tuna hesitated but obeyed, her lips pressing against the cup as Alex steadied her hands. Afterward, she sank back into the bed, her eyes heavy with exhaustion. The rain hammered louder, drowning the silence. Alex glanced at the child, then back at Tuna. "You can't be alone like this. Not with a baby. Not in this weather. You just gave birth, and now this fever. You'll make yourself worse." Tuna tried to protest, her lips parting, but the weakness in her body silenced her. She nodded faintly, too tired to resist his care. Alex pulled a chair close to her bed and sat down, his presence steady, like an anchor in the storm. He reached for his phone and called his sister, his tone calm yet resolute. "I'm staying here tonight. Na is sick, and I can't leave her like this." The words hung heavy. He knew his sister would disapprove, but for once, he didn't care. His decision was final. He placed the phone aside, leaning back in the chair, his gaze fixed on Tuna. Her breathing was uneven, her face pale beneath the fever's flush. Alex wanted to say something about the DNA results, about the truth that weighed on his chest. But as he watched her frailty, he swallowed the words. Now wasn't the time. She needed strength, not another blow. The storm outside grew wilder, but inside the farmhouse, a different storm brewed silently. Alex sat there for hours, adjusting the blanket when Tuna shivered, wiping her damp forehead with a cool cloth, watching her with a quiet devotion that neither of them dared to name. Every time she stirred, her eyes flickered open just enough to see him there, unwavering, refusing to leave her side. Something shifted in her heart. Gratitude mingled with a warmth she hadn't allowed herself to feel before. Alex was no longer just the man who helped her out of pity. Tonight, he was her shield, her comfort, the one presence she could rely on when the world outside seemed to collapse. By dawn, the rain had eased, leaving behind the scent of fresh earth and the distant chirping of birds. Light filtered through the window, soft and golden. Tuna opened her eyes slowly, her fever broken, but her body still weak. The first thing she saw was Alex, slumped in the chair beside her bed, asleep from exhaustion. His head tilted to the side, his expression calm despite the discomfort of his position. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. She studied his face quietly, her heart racing in a way she couldn't explain. This man had chosen to stay with her all night, despite everything. Despite his sister's warnings, despite the whispers of disapproval. For the first time in a long while, Tuna felt seen, valued, and safe. When Alex stirred awake, his eyes immediately searched for her. "You're awake. How do you feel?" His voice was rough with fatigue, but still brimming with care. "Better," Tuna whispered, her voice soft, almost shy. "Thanks to you." Their eyes lingered on each other, a silence stretching between them, filled with unspoken emotions neither dared to voice. Something had changed in the stormy night. They both felt it, though neither admitted it aloud. Alex nodded, trying to mask the relief flooding his chest. "That's good. You need more rest. I'll prepare something light for you." He rose, busying himself in the small kitchen. Tuna watched him, her heart aching with a mixture of gratitude and longing. She wanted to say more, to thank him properly, to confess the warmth blooming in her chest. But fear held her tongue. For Alex, the weight of his sister's disapproval and the secret of the DNA results pressed against him like chains. Yet, sitting at that small table, preparing food for Tuna, he realized something had already shifted within him. His care for her wasn't just obligation anymore. It was something deeper, something undeniable. As the day stretched forward, the two of them moved carefully around each other, their words polite, their actions thoughtful. But beneath every glance, every moment of silence, was the spark of something new. That night of rain and fever had changed everything. Tuna and Alex now stood at the edge of a fragile beginning. Both felt the pull toward one another. Both carried the weight of unspoken feelings, and both feared crossing the line that could shatter the delicate balance they clung to. And yet, in the quiet moments when their eyes met and lingered just a little too long, they knew. The storm had done more than break the fever. It had awakened something neither of them could ignore. From that night on, the farm carried a new energy, subtle but undeniable. The fields seemed greener, the air lighter, as though even the land sensed the quiet change between them. Tuna carried herself differently, her steps slower, but her heart warmer. And Alex, though he never confessed it, found more excuses to be at the farm, always arriving with the same steady presence that had kept vigil by her side in the rain-soaked night. Neither spoke their feelings, neither dared to make the first move, but both knew the truth. Something had begun, something fragile and powerful, something they both secretly hoped would grow. And so, beneath the wide skies of the farm, with the scent of earth and the memory of rain lingering in the air, Alex and Tuna's story entered a new chapter, one written not in words, but in silence, in glances, and in the quiet certainty that their hearts had already chosen each other, even if their lips had yet to speak it.